Hello, anyone and everyone. I'm here today to kind of help you with your deck building process when it comes to playing Salamangreat. Now, you've played the deck a little bit, you know what's going on, you're starting to feel a bit more comfortable. Maybe you want to change up the list and you want to kind of know what's core, what's not, like what I can add, what are some options, what are some budget options, and I'm just going to go over some of these today. So we're going to actually just start out with the core. So right now I have my normal deck in, and this is what I'm rocking right now. The only thing that's really experimental is Appaloosa, but this is just a free slot. That Appaloosa can be a Nightmare Phoenix. It can be, it can be Hita. That's the wrong one. This one here. This is really good because you can revive an Ash and then make Heat Leo with it. So you like special summon Ash from your opponent's graveyard, make Heat Leo, make Update Gem or maybe afterwards, and then make access code. It can be, if you know that the format's going to have a lot of graveyard effects, you can put an Abyss Dweller. It could be a lot of, it's your free slot basically. But right now I'm just trying out the Appaloosa. It's kind of neat. It's alright. Anyways, I'm going to strip it to basically the bare bones, what we need to play Salamangreat. So technically, we don't have to play all of these hand traps. So we can technically cut all the hand traps. Although I would say that Ash is core because you can add it back off of Sunlight Wolf, and recycling 2 or 3 Ashes in a grind game can get really oppressive. But you don't need Ash. Ash is like the top of the URs that you want to craft though, because it just goes in every deck. It counters Max C, so you really do want Ash if you're looking to play a bit budget. But we don't need imperms. And also I would say, because of Max C, Effect Veiler is better than imperm in this format. And it's because when you're going first and you open Max C, but you can still establish your board, when you activate Max C and your opponent tries to play through it, if you draw into imperm, you can't activate imperm from your hand while you have cards on your field. So you have to wait for him to clear it, and it's just not as good. So I would actually advise crafting Veiler first. I like triple Buffalo, but this is either triple Buffalo or triple Lady Debug. So it can be either of these, but it's 3-1 or just 3 basically. You can run 3 Debug, 1 Buffalo. You can run 3 Buffalo, 1 Debug. You can run 3 Buffalo. You can run 3 Debug. Like you're good on that. So one of these, I feel like that is pretty core. Double Foxy, because we don't want to banish 2 copies of Desires, which I consider core. A lot of good players also do not play the Desires version, but man, I've won so many games from using Desires. It is just such a good card in Salamangreat. So I like the Double Foxy, especially on the Desires version. 1 Gazelle, obviously. Triple Spinny, this is like the best Salamangreat to draw in conjunction with a way to get to Gazelle. The 1 Falco, you don't really care if you banish or not, but oftentimes you are sending this off of Gazelle. You're using it to like recur maybe your wills or your rages and stuff, and saving Sunlight Wolf for something else. So the 1 Falco, double Jack Jag, kind of the same deal with the Foxy. You don't want to banish all of the copies. You do need at least 1 Jack Jaguar, but normally you searched out part of the combo, so you could play 1 Jack Jaguar, but 2 is just standard. This is not core. You do not need to play triple Parallel Exceed, but it's really, really good. So I would say this is pretty core, but I'm going to cut it just in case, because you don't need to play Parallel Exceed. If you're playing Desires, I feel it's a 3 or 0 situation. I do not like 2 Desires. Up to you though, you can run 2. It's a sin, but it is what it is. Some people cut mining from the deck entirely. You can, especially because we have 3 circle, but I feel like Silent Mining just has so much synergy with the deck, and just the Silent Mining plus any Salamangreat thing is very good. Yes, it's a prime Ash target, but also you can use that to your advantage because it's a prime Ash target. People will Ash this when you activate it. You need to play the 1 Sanctuary, obviously, searches it with Baelinks. And double will, triple will, 1 will, I think is all pretty fantastic. 3 will might get a bit bricky, although it can be a discard target for Foxy and so on. If you're playing 3 will, I would suggest also having something like Appaloosa or something to use your extra resources on, maybe, you know, something to provide a payoff to running 3 of that card. It's very good going second, pretty good going first. I like 2. We max out on Called By because hand traps in this format is gross, but this is not core. Triple Circle searches your entire deck, pretty good. And 1 and 1. You can run 2 and 2 or 2 and 1. You're pretty good on those ratios there. So I feel like this for the main deck is core. 3 Buffalo, 2 Foxy, 1 Gazelle, 3 Spinny, 1 Falco, 2 Jack Jag, 3 Desires, 3 Silent Mining, 1 Sanctuary, 2 Will of the Salamangreats, 3 Circle, 1 Rage, 1 Roar. That feels like core to me. Like, you need to play this. As for the extra deck, we have a super tight extra deck. If you're not playing Parallel Exceed, you can cut the Bagooska. I still wouldn't, because some hands just makes Bagooska without Parallel Exceed, but you can cut the Bagooska, put in a second Mirage Stalio. Obviously, you play the 1 Mirage Stalio. I think Mirage Stalio, whether it's at 1 or at 3, you're always going to play it at 1. The card's really, like, it's really good, but it's not that good. I feel like we're past the point where this MX Saber Invoker effect is super impactful. Okay, it is impactful. Don't take me wrong, but a lot of times I will only ever resolve the effect once. I go on that going first combo, but you do need to play the 1 copy. Triple Balinks, core, gotta have it. So if you're not running Access Code, you're still running Update Gemmer, because Update Gemmer transcode is an OTK. So I find for Salamangreat, Update Gemmer transcode is core. You need to be playing it if you're playing, even if you're playing like the Violet Chimera version or something of the sort. And sadly, this is where the expensive part of the deck comes in. You do need to play triple Sunlight Wolf. It just is what it is. You have to. Splash Mage, don't need to play this, but it's really good, especially if you're playing Access Code. If you're not playing Access Code, I could see it as a cut if you wanted to. Don't know if you should, but it's a viable cut that you can do. Transcode Talker, obviously we already talked about the Update Gemmer transcode thing. Double Heatleo, a lot of people are cutting Heatleo, so I assume you could probably make plays without it, but especially with this format being so Eldritch heavy, you should really be playing double Heatleo. It's so good, it breaks boards, it forces interruptions, and it lets you soul charge 3 sometimes, and it's just using Will the Salamangreat. So there's just a lot going on, and you need Heatleo if you're doing a Violet Chimera version of the build. Appaloosa, absolutely not needed. Again, we already went over that. It could be a Nightmare Phoenix, it could be a Hida, it could be just a bunch of other things. Like, pretty much that is your main free spot. I feel like everything else here is core, and yeah, you should be running it like this. Access Code is basically a Salamangreat. You've seen it in my thumbnails before if you've watched on the channel. Access Code is the best Salamangreat card. So if you can get your hands on it, play it. So now we can talk about maybe some budget alternatives, some different things that you can consider when building your Salamangreat deck. Oftentimes you are going to find that I just think 3 Ash should be considered. But if you don't want to run any hand traps, you could try doing a very trap heavy version. In which case, I would maybe lean a bit more on the pure side of things. I feel like the extra deck would probably stay more or less unchanged. Maybe you could add a second Mirage Stalio, or if you're feeling spicy, you could add a Violet Chimera. And this is like the OG win con. You could add a Violet Chimera and a Fusion of Fire into your extra deck if you were feeling a little spicy, and maybe do like a more trap heavy, hard going first version. So you could put in like triple Torrential Tribute, because when you make your turn 1 board of the Sunlight Wolf, Jack Jaguar, and Mirage Stalio, Balinks can actually protect your Salamangreat cards, so more than 1 card, from battle or destruction or card effect destruction. So when you activate Torrential Tribute, you can actually protect your whole board while wiping your opponent's whole board. Only 1 time, but if you open 2, you might need to use 2 in a pinch. But most of the time, Torrential Tribute will just end your opponent's turn, and they can't extend through that. If you are doing a trap-heavy version, I would definitely consider doing a double Cosmic Cyclone in the cases where you will go second. Just a solid card, I find. If you're doing a trap-heavy version, I would definitely consider maybe triple Solemn Judgment and Solemn Strike. Now, these are both URs, so we don't necessarily need to be running these. You can do Gozen and Rivalry. Not both, I would say. Probably just one or the other. And I find that probably Rivalry is better. I'm trying to think about the format, and I would say probably Rivalry is better. It's not going to hit every deck, but it's going to work for you. And especially in a trap-heavy version, I would definitely consider the Debug as a very good card because it just lets you draw into more guys, basically. So now that we are here, you basically have some nice slots that you could fill, basically. You can definitely consider running Double Rage and a second Roar. And while you have it, you might as well be running that one copy of Solemn Judgment that you should have from the bundles. I feel like I'm kind of running low on. I don't have a lot of monsters in here, and you really do want to open at least one monster, plus basically one Salamangreat name, or basically two Salamangreat names. Let's be honest here. And in which case, I would maybe bump up a Salamangreat name. Now, for Salamangreat name options, I don't know if I have all of the Salamangreats. You can definitely consider the one foul. I was playing this in early versions of my build when I was climbing to Plat in Season 1. Because I didn't have the... Oh gosh, what was it? I think I didn't have my 3 Signet Minings yet. So I was running the one foul. I think for viable Salamangreats, the one foul is pretty okay. You start to get into kind of spicy territory if you start running, where is it? Mole. He's fine. He's extender plus he draws 2. I think this is a little bit better than Mirror. So you could definitely consider the one of Mole. Probably not more than one, but it is what it is. And I think you can also consider the one of Mirror. So if you want to cut, say, like a Rage and probably just like a Rivalry, you could kind of make this work for you. And this is a bit more budget than the hand trap heavy variant, but you will feel weaker going second. You will not be able to break boards as hard, and it's not going to work as well for you there. If you're not running the Fusion Fire variant, if you have your access code, definitely put in the access code and not play the Fusion Fire, because Fusion Fire is basically just a more interruptible. We're making this budget, so might as well put in something like Hida here. It's going to be a bit more interruptible. It's going to be a little bit weaker, but you will have those blowouts turn 1 if you go first. Like Torrential Tribute can win you the game. Solemn Judgment stops a lot. You will more likely draw into power traps. Rivalry makes it very difficult to play through your interruptions. Upgrades I would do is maybe we don't need to play back row destruction as much because we have Helio. So I would consider, at the first possible chance here, to put an Ash Blossom. Like, this list isn't the best, but it can get you to Plat 1. And I'll probably honestly refine this list a little bit and do a couple videos. But yeah, if you needed any more help, feel free to comment. Maybe give your deck building ideas to me. I can definitely respond to them. If you're looking for critiques or any ideas, feel free. I check out my comments like every other day or every day, and just, man, the support has been amazing. I'm almost at 100 subscribers. So like, if you guys could subscribe and drop a comment and maybe leave a like, maybe share this with other Salamangreat enthusiasts, that would be so awesome. More videos coming up soon. I'm going to try just some spicy off-meta builds for Salamangreats and see what happens. Thanks for watching.